Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm thrilled to be here with you because we've got some major updates to discuss today. But first, a quick word of caution before we dive in. Be careful about getting your market updates or pricing analysis from gray dealers. While they're not all bad, it's tough for them to be completely unbiased. And you'll understand why I say this as we get further into this video. Now, on to the big news. There's been some chatter among gray dealers suggesting that Rolex purchasing Bucher is going to save the gray market. No. I'm here to tell you that's just not the case, and I'll explain why. To fully understand this move, we need to consider a number of factors. One, the reason behind Rolex's purchase of Bucher. Two, the impact on other Rolex authorized dealers. 3, the effect on watches of Switzerland stock. 4, the implications for other brands carried by Bucher. And finally, the key question, how this move affects gray dealers. Let's start with the first question. Why did Rolex buy Bucher? The answer is actually quite straightforward. Sometimes the simple answer is the best answer. Bucher is probably their largest sales channel, and Rolex didn't want to risk a new owner mismanaging the firm and hurting sales. Imagine the cost and effort involved in creating a new sales network like Bucher's from scratch. The land, construction, and personnel training costs would be enormous, far higher than simply purchasing the existing sales channel. Plus, think about the time it would take. Additionally, Rolex is working on increasing its production capacity. It just doesn't make sense for them to split their focus between that and creating a new global sales network. So acquiring Bucher makes a lot of sense for Rolex. But what are the implications of this acquisition for both Rolex and Bucher? First, no one is talking about the bundling requirements that Rolex imposes on its dealers. For example, if a dealer wants to purchase a Daytona, they are required to purchase, let's say, 10 ladies Datejust as well. But guess what? Rolex won't impose this bundling requirement on itself. That would make no sense, which will likely lead to a much better customer service experience. No more pressure to buy junk jewelry. Another significant implication is the flexibility in pricing. Since Rolex will now own Bucher, there will be more flexibility in the pricing margin. Yes, prices will probably rise to keep up with inflation and reflect current demand. But Bucher won't need to report record profits to Rolex. They're the same entity. This will result in additional pricing flexibility, meaning Rolex will have more room to adjust prices to maintain profit and respond to market demand, either up or down. So what happens to other Rolex authorized dealers? I know a lot of people are asking about that. Are they in trouble? Will they disappear? The answer is a conditional no, and let me explain why. When I was in business school, we used an application called ArcGIS, that stands for Graphical Information System, to analyze local demographic data and select optimal location for retail operations. Rolex will likely conduct a similar analysis. Bucher does not cover all locations where it would be profitable to have an authorized dealer. There are areas where an independent authorized dealer would thrive due to the cost of real estate, hiring labor, and logistical challenges, and it would make more sense for Rolex to outsource their retail sales. Does this mean some consolidation will happen? Sure, likely yes. But not all independent authorized dealers will disappear. That would be bad business. So what happened to watches of Switzerland and why did their stock drop? Based on the previous analysis, you can see that this was an overreaction. Markets tend to do this. They'll jump at big news and then settle down. In fact, if I were in the market, I might buy a few shares as it will likely go back up. But wait, what about other brands sold by Bucher? What do? Do they continue being sold by Rolex? Would brands like Omega and Longines be happy with this arrangement? Okay, here we need to talk about an economic theory called the socially optimal solution. What is that? Okay. This theory suggests that if all costs and benefits are captured by the supply and demand curves, then the market outcome is a quantity where marginal social cost equals marginal social benefit. Okay, right about now, your head is probably spinning. So what does that mean? What it means is that when most customers have to travel a minimal amount of distance to purchase a product, that is the best outcome. For example, have you ever noticed that competing car dealerships are always bunched together? They are competitors, but they are located right next to each other. Does that make any sense? Well, the reason is that when customers have to travel long distances, car sales go down simply because the cost in time and money looking for a new car goes up. When customers can easily find their new car, sales for all dealerships go up. So yes, it does pay for competitors in retail to group together. This business model applies to watches of Switzerland and Bucher as well. You'll even see their competitors right next to them. This means that Bucher will get more sales carrying multiple brands than only Rolex. And the other brands know that Rolex drives traffic into their shops, and they will also benefit. It's all about reducing searching costs for consumers. The lower the cost, the higher the sales. Simple, right? Now, the key question. What happens to the gray market? Well, flipping watches will get even more difficult. As you've seen from my videos, it's increasingly unprofitable. However, now with Rolex in direct control of Bucher, it will be harder. Why? We know that the blacklist is real. If Rolex finds out that you flipped a watch, they won't sell you another one unless you're dealing with a corrupt authorized dealer. And again, now we have Rolex running the show. Now, here's the real issue. I've seen some silly takes from gray dealers that Rolex is buying Bucher to keep secondary prices above retail. Quite frankly, that is one of the silliest things that I've heard from them. In order to understand why, we need to talk about Veblen goods. A Veblen good is a type of luxury good for which demand increases as the price increases, simply because people want to show off their wealth. Flexing. So gray dealers are now saying that this situation benefits Rolex, and that's why they purchased Bucher. Wow, that is really twisting the facts. The thing to understand is that Veblen goods are determined by the official retail price. That is what creates their status. It's not some fluctuating secondary price. The problem for Rolex is that the excess secondary profits do not result in any additional profit for them. All the excess money goes to the gray dealers. The other issue is that Rolex knows the brand damage done by excessively high used prices. There are tons of YouTube videos and forum posts where people are saying, hey, I'm done with Rolex. So think about the situation. Rolex gets no profit from higher than retail prices, and all the anger and brand damage goes to them. So why would Rolex be happy with this situation? They're not. That's why they are planning on ramping up production. I'll say it again. The profits from the secondary market don't go to Rolex. The only way Rolex can profit from higher demand is to raise their prices or increase production, or both. And that's exactly what they are planning to do. The purchase of Bucher is intended to support their expansion of production. Yes, for Rolex, it's a great move. Okay, we've covered a lot today, so I think that's enough for now, and I'll see you in the next video.